Welcome back for another video. What are the best FPL managers around the world doing for Gameweek 8? The international break's over, FPL's back, let's get into it. Starting off with a quick manager highlight, FPL Fella has moved top of the league after scoring 75 points before the break. He's working towards his 4th top 10k in the last 7 years as well. He's well on his way there. The average global score was 60 points. Well done if you managed to beat the average expert score, which was 71 points. So what are they up to for Gameweek 8? There's 52% planning to roll, but there's lots of transfer activity. 22% are making 1 transfer, 12% are making 2, 3 are making 3 transfers, and there's 1 making 4 transfers in fact. And on top of that, 10% have got an international break wildcard active. Loads of you have asked this week about a wildcard team, like what's the best team for Gameweek 8 and onwards, and we've got a draft from a top manager to run through in a bit. And further to the 10% wildcard, and there's loads of bench boosts active as well, so we'll break that all down. First of all, which players are they buying? Which players are they selling? The number 1 transfer this week is Saka. 18% of the top all-timers are picking him up after that goal last game, coming from the penalty spot as well. A fully fit and in-form Saka will be great value for 9.9 mil. In 23-24, 26.5 expected goal involvement, ranked 4th best in the league after Haaland, Salah and Palmer. But is Gyökeres to Saka worth it? That's a really tough one to answer because transfers are just so valuable and you're going to need a minimum of 2 transfers to make that switch. And ultimately it was just the penalty that he scored. It wouldn't be a surprise if Gyökeres could match Saka over the next few game weeks. It has been reported that Havertz is ahead of schedule on his return from injury, but he is still a way off yet. We're probably looking at like another 4 or 5 game weeks before he's got a chance of starting, so that's not an immediate concern or immediate threat to Gyökeres' position right now. Enzo's the number 2 transfer, 15% buying him. If you watched my team selection video, he's actually the one I'm looking to buy myself. It is dependent on him being back in training and ready to start, because he did withdraw from international duty with knee inflammation. Chelsea could come back firing though, like lots of their key players have had a nice rest. Enzo, Cucurella, Gusto have all had a 1 week rest. James, Caicedo, Sanchez, Chalobah and Garnacho have had a 2 week rest. The other popular alternative that we should highlight, and he's very close here, is Sarr, who 13% are buying, so only 2 fewer managers are buying the Palace mid. Some are even looking to buy both in fact. You know, there's a combination like Bruno and Stack or Dewsbury Hall to both of them. On a wildcard, they are the very popular duo to own. 13% are buying Gabriel, 12% opting for Timber instead, who has been incredibly attacking actually. 24 points he got in Game Week 2 is the biggest return of any player this season. And he's on 2.39 expected goal involvement, which is also highest of all defenders. Munoz is in second with 2 XGI, Calafiori also really impressive stats, 1.98 XGI. No one's created more chances than Cucurella's 10. Bruno is the most sold then, 18% dropping the Man United mid, and then it's Watkins and Dye, Tarkowski and Gyökeres. And 9% are buying Bowen with the hope of a new manager bounce under Nuno. If we were to plot players with the lowest ownership and the highest upside on a chart, so lowest ownership, highest upside, then I think Saka and Bowen have got to be 2 of the best there. Saka only 10.4% owned and Bowen 7.4% owned. And it's a really solid fixture run for West Ham as well. They've got Brentford, Leeds and Burnley in their next 4 game weeks. Speaking of charts, let's have a high level look at a few charts here. Data from Opta and BBC. So we've got XG per game on the y-axis and we've got XG conceded per game on the x-axis. So that gives us a nice visualization of the best all-rounder teams, best for attack, best for defence. And Man City and Arsenal come out on top there. You might be a bit surprised Liverpool and Newcastle aren't top. Make no mistake, they have been great, just not as high as the other 2 basically. Leeds and Sunderland do well here. They've clearly adapted well to the Premier League. Burnley, West Ham and Nottingham Forest so far struggling to score, and they've also been poor defensively. So that's the overall view. What about attack specifically? So shot quality on the y-axis, so that's XG per shot taken, and then shots per game on the x-axis. So Palace and Man City are creating the best chances with the best shot qualities. So there's lots of good picks there like Haaland, Sarr, Mateta. Brentford, interestingly, aren't shooting much, but they're taking high quality shots when they do. And then there's Arsenal, Man United and Liverpool. They're shooting loads, but lower quality shots. And lastly, a defensive overview. So shot quality on the y-axis, shots faced per game on the x-axis. It's what you'd expect in the top right corner. Arsenal and Newcastle defence have just been elite. They're better than the rest. Burnley at the opposite end there, conceding by far the most shots. Man United conceding by far the best chances as well. Real red flag there. Fulham have been a little bit unlucky when you consider how many clean sheets they've kept and how close they are plotted to Bournemouth and Man City here. But I know lots of you have got the Senesi and Anderson rotation in your team, so that looks great. Hopefully you enjoyed the slightly different bit of analysis there. Chips next then. So 10% of the top all-time managers have got their wildcard active, so only 25% have still got theirs left to use. 16% have got the bench boost active as well for Gameweek 8. With no free hits or triple captains, and the free hit is the least used chip so far, 82% of the experts still yet to use the free hit, 48% yet to triple captain. FPL Berg has got his bench boost active, and he's got 10 top 30k finishes, including 3 top 10ks and 1 top 1k, and his team is Pope, Senesi, Alderete, Timber, Gordon, Semenyo, Foden, Reinders, Saka, Haaland and Gyökeres. So the bench boost is Dubravka, Calvert-Lewin, Burn and Rodon. I'm locked in with my bench boost for this week after a nice rank boost last week using the wildcard. I set my team with this week in mind for the bench boost, with the Burnley vs Leeds fixture providing an opportunity to put out 15 with favourable fixtures. It's likely I'll go with the team as it is now. My other players are either in good form or are showing signs that a haul may be coming. For example, the Foden pick versus Everton feels like an exciting punt. If the pressers throw up any doubts, then I'll use my free transfer or maybe a -4 to tweak it slightly. There's lots of moves to similarly priced players available, like other promoted defenders or attacking players for Chelsea or Brentford. Got nothing in the bank, so it'll be a straight swap to a Stev most likely if Alderete is out injured. If another player is looking iffy, like Foden for example, then I'll probably bring in a more expensive defender like Vardy or Van Dijk for a -4. Like many others, I'm quite excited to get the bench boost out of the way so I can focus on the 11. Pete Allaway has wildcarded and he's aiming for a 5th top 10k in the last 8 years, and his wildcard team is Pope, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Senesi, Richards, Rodon, Saka, Semenyo, Sarr, Enzo, Xhaka, João Pedro, Haaland and Voltemada. My wildcard is active ahead of Gameweek 8, and my first real decision was to decide which 3 Arsenal assets I wanted to include. They're top for expected goals conceded, so I think it's wise to double up on their defence. Gabriel is a no-brainer pick, and I've decided to pair him with Timber. Raya was looking an alternative to Timber, however, the defender just has a much higher ceiling and he's looked insanely attacking for only 0.2 million more. Saka is my third Arsenal pick. We saw last time out, it looks like he's going to be on penalties ahead of Gyökeres. In goal, I'm going with Newcastle's Nick Pope. Newcastle have looked very solid defensively and they're currently second for expected goals conceded, which is impressive given they faced both Liverpool and Arsenal. He's paired with Burnley's Dubravka, who's great for 4 million as a playing option. Chris Richards remains from my original side, and I've brought in Bournemouth's Senesi and Joe Rodon from Leeds. Senesi's hit DEFCON in 7 out of 8 games so far, as well as having 2 assists to his name. Bournemouth also third for expected goals conceded, so Senesi's looking like it could be a great pick. Rodon is just a solid bench option should I need him, offering both attacking threat and the potential of DEFCON points. In midfield, Sarr and Enzo have come in alongside Saka and Semenyo, who remains from my initial side. I've always been a fan of Ismaila Sarr, and I was disappointed to have to transfer him out earlier in the season due to injury. Despite missing 2 games, the midfielder still sits second among all midfielders for non-penalty expected goals. Chelsea's Enzo Fernandez sits top of midfielders for non-penalty expected goals. It looks like he could be a fantastic option with Cole Palmer still being out injured. Fernandez looks like he should be on penalties as well until Palmer returns, and Chelsea have got a really nice upcoming fixture run. Sunderland's Xhaka completes the midfield. Again, Xhaka's a solid bench option with a number of different routes to points should I ever need to play him. He's got 2 assists so far and he's hit DEFCON 4 times. He's also on set piece duty. Erling Haaland and João Pedro remain from my initial side. Haaland needs no explanation. João Pedro's been slightly disappointing as of late, however Chelsea keep seeing themselves going down to 10 men, which hasn't helped the cause. As previously mentioned, Chelsea have got a very nice upcoming fixture run, so I'm hoping that doubling up on their attack can see me rewarded. Currently, Nick Voltemada completes the forward line. The German striker has been impressive from what I've seen of him so far. He's got 3 goals in his 4 appearances and even took a penalty last game, although Anthony Gordon wasn't on the pitch at the time. Newcastle looked poor in attack to start the season, but since Valdemar made his debut in Gameweek 4, they're now 6th for expected goals, and it looks like the striker's going to get plenty of chances. You know what, fair play, bro basically just got me to record a team selection video for him. Thank you for sending in, guys, and good luck with the chips. So, experts captaincy next, and we'll keep it short and sweet. It's Haaland 96%, Salah 3%, Saka 1%. In terms of FPL review projections, it's got Haaland top 6.7 points, Salah just behind 6.6, Saka 5.4, Isak 5.2. A few honourable mentions: Enzo is on 5.2 as well if he starts and gets 90, Gyökeres on 5.0, João Pedro and Bruno 4.7. Experts team next, and if you appreciate the countless hours that goes into these experts videos, then do hit like and subscribe. I make these every week for you, so make sure you're subscribed. What's the top all-time managers template team then? There's a few changes. Raya is still a mainstay in goal. It's Rodon, Gabriel and Senesi in defence. It's Semenyo, Stack, Bruno and Reinders in midfield, and then it's Gyökeres, João Pedro and Haaland up front. So it's Dubravka and Dye, Tarkowski and Anderson on the bench. You could make the case for starting Dubravka over Raya, but given what those earlier charts showed us, it's probably sensible to just stick with the Arsenal defence. Not bad if you're bench boosting Dubravka though, like Berg was. So Haaland's the only 100% owned player. Dubravka and Semenyo are pretty close behind, and Sarr moves up to 25% ownership. He's not far off earning a spot in the team now, and I have a feeling in a few weeks he might join it. Obviously, if you're not buying now, then it'd be after Gameweek 9, given they've got Arsenal then. It's Bournemouth home this week for Palace. Salah just 10% owned now among the top all-timers, unbelievably low. Let's not forget, by the way, last season, Haaland was looking essential after 10 goals in the first 5 games, and then he fell off and Salah went on a rampage. Could we see the same again, or is Salah's time as a staple FPL pick over? Final thoughts and tips from the top all-time managers then. Here's what they wanted to say to you. Alex Mason says, I thought about Wildcard this week, but there's still a lot to consider. In a funny way, I don't think this season has really got going yet. None of the premiums other than Haaland are scoring well. We have another block of 4 game weeks to go before the final international break of the year. Most wildcard teams I've seen have got Bournemouth, Palace and Arsenal in. I can see all of us wanting Liverpool and City again in 4 weeks time, so my strategy is to remain patient. Watkins to Bowen, the only move for me. Good luck everyone. FPL Vert says, I did a dive into all 20 teams over the international break, and it seems that Arsenal are performing the best for both attack and defence, while no team really comes close to their attack. Newcastle are running very close, and in fact Pope is scoring more points than Raya for 0.6 million less. I think it makes sense to lean on double attack for Arsenal rather than to own an asset with a ceiling of 6. FPL USA Brian finished top 1k last season. I was planning to bench boost in Gameweek 8, but I now have Foster, Alderete and Richarlison problems in my side. I do have 3 free transfers, and I'd love to get the chip out of the way, so I might just move up some transfers to use the chip. Next year, I'm 100% bench boosting in Gameweek 1 to avoid this massive headache. And lastly, Adam says, I explored the option of wildcarding earlier in the international break, but ultimately opted to keep it in my back pocket for now. I still feel that there's more to learn about a number of players and teams. Liverpool in particular, I didn't feel big structural changes were needed at this stage, so I'm hoping the patient approach pays off and it doesn't turn around to stubbornness. Thanks very much for watching. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at the #1 all-time managers FPL team and transfer plans, so make sure you're subscribed. See you soon for the next one.